Star Wars 7 by 7 episode 1111. Yeah, 1111. How about that? So Rian Johnson has revealed a word from the opening crawl of The Last Jedi, and I'm going to share it with you here and suggest what it could possibly be referring to, and also share a bit with you about his writing process for the opening crawl, in which he reveals something else that's very cool. Punch it, Chewie. Hey, Rebel Rouser. Welcome to Star Wars 7 by 7. I'm your host, Alan Voivod. And if you're watching the video version of this podcast, then no, I'm not actually in the Black Lodge, although these curtains are kind of similar. No, I'm actually in a hotel room in Novato, California. That's Northern California. I'm actually just a few miles up the road from Skywalker Ranch, and I'm going to be hiking around there very soon, so I'm very excited about that. Some extra bonus time that I have while I'm out here in California, and I'm getting to see the sights, so that's wicked cool. But that doesn't mean I'm taking any time off from doing the podcast for you, and that's what we've got to talk about today, right? We got to get into the big news, the new word from the opening crawl. Now, if you remember from The Force Awakens, J.J. Abrams actually revealed, not the opening crawl actually, but the very first line of dialogue, the first word from the first line of dialogue in the movie, and that was, I believe, on the Johnny Carson show. Listen to me, The Tonight Show with Jimmy Fallon, and it was this, and it was from, of course, Lars Sonteca's "This Will Begin to Make Things Right." But we actually have an opening crawl word from Rian Johnson, and it came courtesy of Meredith Werner, who was interviewing him for the Los Angeles Times during the D23 Expo. So I'm going to play the clip of her asking him about the opening crawl and the writing process of it. We're going to learn a few things about this. So here is what Rian Johnson had to say about that.
What was it like writing the opening crawl?
That was well, it was really, actually, I just did it. I just started writing the draft, and I'm like, okay, I'm just going to do it. I wrote something, it was terrible. And then I saw somewhere that Lucas, I was watching one of the behind-the-scenes things, and Lucas said it's like writing a haiku. And I realized as I was refining it what he meant, because it really, it was, we didn't finish the opening crawl and totally lock it until a few weeks ago, actually. And so, yeah, because you're like, do we need this word? Do we need that word? What if we shift it? You really are, it's like a poem. You're trying to get every single, there's very little room for error in trying to get it just right, which is awesome. It's really fun. And
a particular word you're proud you got in there?
Oh, boy. I'm going through I hope I won't mouth the words as I'm going through it in my head. It'd be funny if it was poop. I used the word poop in the crawl, which is a first for the Star Wars universe. I'm quite proud of. That's the whole crawl, is just the word poop, actually. That's what sorry, yes. Wait. It's having decimated.
Decimated.
Yes.
All right, let's talk about the big one there, decimated, okay? That's pretty cool, and it's not the very first word, obviously, because he had to look, up and recollect it in his mind and go da-da-da-da-da-da, and he came up with decimated. So I'd say probably early on, probably within the first paragraph. And if you think about the fact that opening crawls all refer to events that have happened in the past, or events that are basically about to happen, as we're going to see them in the movie itself, but they haven't happened yet, and it's not like it's predicting the future per se. It's just saying that this is about to happen, just some event. The only thing that really qualifies for a past tense thing in the sequel would likely be the destruction of the New Republic, of the Hosnian system. I'd say you could easily call the Hosnian system decimated. Now, technically, decimated has an older definition, as Quizmaster Joe once reminded me, that decimating referred to the practice of killing one soldier in 10 in order to teach the other 9 out of 10 a lesson. So I don't think that's what they're talking about here, unless somehow the destruction of Starkiller bases decimated the First Order's army, but I don't think that's really the case, and especially not when you hear about Rian Johnson saying things like the First Order takes some really aggressive moves in the beginning of The Last Jedi. So I don't think they could be doing something like that if their army had been decimated. No, I'm pretty sure this refers to the New Republic specifically having been decimated in the Hosnian system. And the other thing I want to flag for you, I'm going to flag for you after the break, so stay tuned. Welcome back. All right, so the other thing I wanted to flag for you, notice that he said that they locked the opening crawl a few weeks ago, and it was one of the last things they did. So according to Rian Johnson, the film is locked. The film is locked, and that would have been as of the end of June. Then, if it's a few weeks by that estimate, so that thing is going to be sitting around for 6 months. 6 months that movie is going to be sitting in the can, waiting for us, right? And for us waiting for it, for heaven's sakes. So, I mean, maybe hitting a May date, like maybe they could have pushed it, right? Maybe they could have done it, but now they're going with December. But the fact that they, I guess, started comparatively early and got to the point where it's now locked, oh my gosh. So we've got a long time to wait, and that means Lucasfilm has a lot of time to think about how they are going to be releasing the tidbits of the movie, because when you think about The Force Awakens, that wasn't locked until October, and they were shooting last little tweaks in September of 2015, just 3 months before the movie came out. So to say nothing of Rogue One with all the changes that they went through, and Michael Giacchino, excuse me, Michael Giacchino having to write the score for Rogue One in 4 weeks and starting in September. So yeah, it's a luxury for Lucasfilm to be done this early. So we'll have to see what kind of fun they have with us in the lead up to it. That's going to do it for today's podcast. Thank you so much for watching this. If you're watching it on Facebook or YouTube, thank you so much for listening. If you're listening on your favorite podcast app, and I will talk with you again tomorrow.